Hi guys, Dean from the Adeptus Victorium, and I'm here to talk to you about our upcoming event, the Black Crusade, a War for Vigilus.
I claim this world in the name of Abaddon, Master of the Black Legion. 80 days, Vigilus will belong to the War Master. We are returned!
We walk in places others cannot. We stalk unseen, shadowed from our foes by Call's genius and my will. We came to this accursed world as saviors, but there is nothing left to save. Only a nightmare of flesh and metal, of dark industry and unholy creations.
They are too late. Such wonders I have wrought here. Such glory in the name of the War Master. These whelps seek to undo my work. They too will be enlightened. I will throw them upon the fires. I shall bind their flesh to my engines. They are far too late.
Alright, let's get the boring stuff out of the way first. The Black Crusade, a War for Vigilus, is a 5-game 1750 point event held at House of War in Ringwood, Victoria. A War for Vigilus will be held on Saturday the 4th and Sunday the 5th of May 2019. At the Black Crusade, there are 4 different ways that you can accumulate tournament points. There is your battle score, your presentation score, your narrative score, and your admin score. For your battle score, you will get between 0 and 20 points per game, determined by a victory point differential between you and your opponent, and then there are an additional 5 battle points available on top of that for achieving various bonus objective conditions throughout the game. The maximum total battle points available are 125, which is the 25 across 5 games. Army presentation is up to 100 points, so almost equivalent to your battle score. 75 points of these will be allocated via a tick box system, so you will know exactly what score you're going to get going into the event by simply looking at the tick boxes and making sure that your army ticks all those boxes. Then a further 10 points potentially could be allocated based on the discretion of the TO and paint judges on the day. And then a further 15 points could be allocated based on the modelling and painting of your hero, which we'll get into later. All Black Crusade events pride themselves on being narrative driven and narrative focused, and so to reflect this, there's an additional 10 points allocated to players based on the narrative of their army, bringing printed narratives, coming up with names for your characters, why they're fighting on Vigilus, those sorts of things will help you earn those additional 10 points. And finally, a further 25 points are available for admin, which is exclusively given to players who submit their lists and submit payment for the event before the cutoff date. All you have to do to get those 25 points is get your listings on time. The awards available at the Black Crusade are first place overall and player's choice presentation, and then there'll be a first, second, and third highest battle score, and a first, second, and third highest presentation score. So it's not one of those events where one person's going to walk away with all the prizes. First, second, and third all get a prize in both categories of presentation and battle. The Black Crusade is adopting elements from the 40k draft event that we ran earlier this year, where at the start of the game, players will be given a sheet that'll have 3 objectives, 3 deployments, and 3 twists, and players alternate drafting out these processes by eliminating the ones that they don't want to play. And they go back and forth until there's only 1 of each left, and then all 3 of those apply for that game. So yeah, I'll put an example up on the screen beside me now, but basically what happens is players roll off at the start, and the winner of that roll-off gets to eliminate one of the deployment maps that they don't want to play on. Then the next person goes and eliminates one of the twists, and then the next person goes and eliminates one of the objectives, and then it goes back to deployment. This next person goes and eliminates one of the remaining 2 deployments, and once they've done that, that final deployment is the one that you'll play. And then they go and eliminate one of the next twists and one of the final objectives, giving you an end result of one of each. In addition to the objectives selected through the drafting process, the Black Crusade is taking a little bit of the ITC flavor that's very popular in this area, and what they're doing is basically, if you kill a unit in your turn, you get a point. If you hold an objective in your point, you get a point. If you hold an objective in your turn, you get a point. If you hold more at the end of the battle round, you get a further point, and if you kill more, you get a further point, the same as ITC. They're not using any of the ITC secondaries, and instead they're using the drafted objective to add a little bit more spice and a little bit more excitement to the ITC format, which I think is fucking great. And then lucky last, the big difference for the Black Crusade compared to any event that I've attended in years is each player is recommended to bring a hero for Vigilus, or a villain, if you will. But basically you get to bring an additional character in your army, so you still write your 1750 point list without this guy, and you get to bring an additional model that represents your hero, and he has the stat profile to our left. And then basically you've got a bunch of options of things that you can use to tweak and personalize that additional character to create a really unique warrior that reflects your army. So he starts off with a pretty standard Space Marine profile, 6-inch move, weapon skill, ballistic skill of 3+. He's got 4 wounds, strength and toughness 4, sorry. The big one, he's got 8 wounds, so this guy's going to be a tough cookie to crack. He's got 4 attacks, leadership 10, 3+ save. So pretty much a standard Space Marine with a fuck ton of wounds. He starts with 2 weapons, a sidearm and a blade. The sidearm is 24-inch range, pistol D3 shots, strength 5, -1 AP and single damage. And his blade is range type melee, strength user, so strength 4, -1 D3 damage. In addition to his profile and weapons listed before, you have to choose 5 items from the next screen, which is all your strengths, and then you have to choose 5 items from the weaknesses. So there's some really interesting stuff in here that'll allow you to personalize a character. Like if you want to make a mighty Khorne Lord, you might decrease his ballistic skill, but you might increase his number of attacks. Or, you know, there's things like adding to move characteristic, replacing his weapon. So you can replace his hero's blade with a champion's blade, which is strength +3, AP -2, D3 damage. So you can upgrade their weapons, you can upgrade their profiles. There's lots of really cool stuff in there. I'll leave it up on the screen for a minute just so that you can get a bit of a feel for some of the strengths and weaknesses. Particular favorites of mine, I like adding things to their movement characteristic is cool. Some of the weaknesses are quite interesting. So cumbersome war gear is one of the examples of a weakness, where the model must reduce its advance distance by 2 inches to a minimum of 0. So if you're running a gun line, you might upgrade the character's weapon and plan on sitting him back where he's safe, in which case that's not really that big of a deal. So you want to go through and pick strengths that are going to help and weaknesses that you can work around, weaknesses that aren't going to screw you over too much. Whereas like if you're running a Khorne Lord, obviously you definitely don't want cumbersome war gear because it's going to slow you down. You might want something like reducing ballistic skills, a good one. Reduce their armor save might be useful because you're planning on just getting in and killing whatever you hit. So you're sort of banking on them not hitting you back, which is definitely something a Khorne player would do. You can also downgrade their weapons as part of the weaknesses, because you have to select 5 weaknesses. So like you can replace his pistol with a 18-inch pistol, 2 shots, strength 3, AP, dash, and single damage. So you can give him a las gun, essentially, a las pistol. But if you're wearing a mighty Khorne Lord, he doesn't need a pistol. He's not shooting anyone, he's getting in. So yeah, there's lots of really cool stuff that you can do with the custom character angle. I think it's going to be great fun. I really look forward to seeing what various people can come up with. There's going to be some really cool stuff. So The one other thing that makes the Black Crusade different to any other event is just the energy and the emphasis that they put into the narrative element of the game. In between each round, they get the projector out and they put up a big thing that sort of progresses the story of the day, of the event, and you actually feel like you're there to fight the battle for Vigilus. It's not just I'm here to bring a cheesy list and dominate people. Like you actually get sucked in. It's really, really good. The head TO Jared does an amazing job. So yeah, come down, check it out. Sign up on Down Under Pairings. You can find all of the information in the player pack, which is linked there. It's also linked on his Facebook page, Black Crusade Narrative Tournament Series, I believe it's called. Or you can find all of the details you need on adeptusvictorium.weebly.com, which is our website. Yeah, so if you have any questions, hit us up on Facebook or comment below, and we'd be glad to help. And I look forward to seeing you there. Cheers.